Hello again, basketball fans, and welcome to Real Training Camp New York Knicks. We are in New York State. You saw the Empire State Building. That is Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks do their thing. Last year, they were 18-23 at MSG, and we are inside the MSG Training Center here in Tarrytown, New York, in Westchester County. Over 100,000 square feet dedicated to the Rangers, the Knicks, and the Liberty, and we are here as well. What's up, everybody? Rick Kamla and Greg Anthony, drafted by the New York Knicks in the first round back in 1991, spent the first 4 years of his career with these Knicks, and it's shocking to me. When doing some research coming into this thing, the Knicks have not won a division title since 1994 when you were a member of this New York Knicks team. It's shocking to find that out.
It is, especially when you think about the history and the tradition that this program has had through the years. And it's been unfortunate, but I think there is finally a light at the end of the tunnel. A tremendously talented roster, without question the best that Mike D'Antoni's had since he's been the head coach of the Knicks.
And we talked to him before coming on the air here. He's very excited about this team. He has the athletic fit that he had in Phoenix, and he thinks that they can make a move this year with this revamped roster. We're going to break it all down over the next 2 hours. There is Coach Mike D'Antoni, and he did not travel to Turkey with USA Basketball because of a back injury, and just needed to sit it out and get right for the season, and he reassured us that his back is feeling good and he's ready to go.
Well, more importantly, his spirit's feeling good because, as you mentioned, he feels a lot better about the roster, just a lot more talent than he's had in years past, and I think what you're going to start to see is an identity taking place for this franchise that they haven't had over the past couple seasons, and it's going to start with the key acquisition of Amar'e Stoudemire.
Amar'e Stoudemire, Raymond Felton, many other new faces. You see Stat right there. He is the leader of this team. He and Raymond Felton were named co-captains of this New York Knicks squad. And you take a look at some of the numbers from last year as we take a look at the 09-10 recap. 29 wins, just despicable from the New York Knicks fans' perspective. They missed the playoffs for the 6th straight year, and they traded leading scorer from last year, David Lee, all-star also last year, to Golden State. They got Anthony Randolph, they got Ronnie Turiaf, they got Kelena Azubuike, and that man, Amar'e Stoudemire, got 99 over 5 to exit Phoenix and come to the New York Knicks, and he is the major reason why there's a lot of excitement about this Knicks team.
It really is the first time they've had a quote-unquote franchise-type player in a long time, and certainly I think he adds a tremendous amount of presence. You know, if you look at it from a statistical standpoint, it's really a wash between he and David Lee. The difference, though, is the impact and the presence that he brings on the floor. I think that's going to escalate and elevate everybody else around him on this roster. That's why there's a little bit more optimism for the Knicks than there has been in years past.
And let's dive into that huddle right there. Let's listen to Mike D'Antoni.
Let's have a great practice, finish up well tomorrow, then we head to Europe. So let's get this thing going. Here we go. Let's get this thing going.
Knicks on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good.
Hold on for a second, real quick. Throw the balls over. We're going to warm up with the footballs. I want to say one thing. Spiral. That about hit Mr. Walsh about 6 inches from his head. All right, so in the interest of contract extensions and job security, let's not throw that direction right there. All right, keep the ball away from that direction. Here we go. Here we go. Start jogging, fellas. Start jogging. Start jogging. Watch out for the cables. Let me take off. Run a route. Go, fellas. 3 more times around. Start picking the tempo up. As you run, pick the tempo. You need to have 2 balls lined up. 2, 2, 2, all the way down. Right here on the blue. Right on the blue. Keep jogging, fellas. Here we go. Keep moving. Keep jogging.
All right, we are listening to Greg Brittenham. He is the director of team conditioning for the New York Knicks. There he is right there. He's in his 20th season with the Knicks, and he has some very innovative and revolutionary ways to get the Knicks ready for their practices, get them ready for the games right here, throwing footballs around, just getting the heart rate going, and this is the beginning of their preparations for what's going to be a pretty grueling scrimmage that we're going to see here later.
Yeah, it's also about getting that blood flow, and this is interesting, I think, for the fans to get an idea of the preparation that goes into your ability to practice. Because as you mentioned, remember, they're doing 2 a day, so they had a practice this morning where they do more of the strategy, implementing game plans, the philosophy, how they want to approach it, and then tonight is about implementing all of those different attributes to becoming this New York Knicks basketball team. And Greg was, back when I was playing, he was just a strength conditioning coach. You know, for us now, he's a director of conditioning, and it is a pretty involved process in terms of what you're going to see them going through. Now, right now, just jogging around, getting loose, throwing the balls around, just, again, getting that blood flow. But they're going to focus a lot on trying to get those hip flexors opened up, the calf muscles. It's amazing. I know for myself, my college coach didn't believe a lot in stretching. When I came to the Knicks, you know, we literally would spend a fourth of our practice in terms of stretching, really getting our muscles together. And I tell you what, it is a tremendous benefit because we were the fewest games missed as a franchise when I played for the Knicks in terms of injury, and a lot of it had to do with the preparation that went in to our ability to play.
And that's what D'Antoni wants with this team. He wants them to be in tip-top shape. He wants them to be in January and February shape now so they can get out of the gate and get off to a hot start and start feeling good about themselves. And as you see them throwing the footballs around here, have you noticed any arms that impressed you or any hands out here, any tough grabs out here?
Well, I see why these guys don't play on Sundays. That's really, it's more about that. I think they all chose the right sport.
Land right on the line, catch the ball. When I say go, at some point I'm going to say red go or blue go. You take the ball, speed dribble to the sideline, and then you come back and get on line. Next person steps up. Step up on the line. Here we go. Red is right, blue is left. Blue. Don't jump. Don't jump. Stay down. Red. 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 Blue. Blue. Pick the feet up, turn them down. Don't jump high. Keep your head at the same height. Red. Blue, go. Hang on. Red. Blue. Blue. Red. Red, go. Second group, step up. Here we go. You're picking the feet up, your head doesn't move. Turn the body. Red. Blue. Blue. Start passing on the call when you hear the call, not when they turn. Red. Good job, Stanford. Red. Blue. Blue, go. Last one. Red. Red. Blue. Blue. Red. Blue. Red, go. Fellas, step up, get 2 balls. Come on back, get 2 balls. Here we go, coming across, sideline to sideline. Balls low, simultaneous. Backwards. Alternating, down low, back straight. Keep your back straight. Backwards. Simultaneous, bouncy, bouncy, coming across. Bouncy back. Right over left. Right over left down. Left over right coming back.
Amari Stoudemire, brand new to the New York Knicks, but not brand new to Coach Mike D'Antoni. Reunited after a couple of years apart here in New York, trying to take the Knicks to the next level. More on that when we return. It's NBA Real Training Camp New York Knicks right here on NBA TV. Real Training Camp New York Knicks is back on NBA TV. A look at AKA Stat and the New York Knicks continuing their preparations for practice here in Tarrytown, New York. We are at the MSG Training Center, and one of the gentlemen that you have not seen out here practicing is Wilson Chandler. Don't worry, Knick fans, there's no real problem with Wilson. It's precautionary. He has a sore left calf, and he is not going here today. According to Jonathan Sopranowicz, the head of PR here for the New York Knicks, he will practice tomorrow morning before the team shoves off. They're heading to Milan, Italy for the first two preseason games for them. NBA Europe Live 2010 presented by EA Sports. It's the New York Knicks traveling to Milan, and then on October 6th, they'll be playing the Timberwolves in Paris. They'll be playing Armani Jeans Milano on October 3rd as they kick off their preseason schedule. So Wilson Chandler expected to be involved in all of that. We're involved with you. Happy to have you with us here covering the New York Knicks with former New York Knick Greg Anthony. I am Rick Kamla, and it's time to talk about the reunification or the reunion of Mike D'Antoni and Amari Stoudemire. And they just had unbelievable success together in Phoenix, obviously with Steve Nash and all the great players they had on those Suns teams. But this is right here the beginning of the renaissance of the New York Knicks, or at least that's what they hope.
Well, it is, and I think you got to keep in mind, with all the success they had in Phoenix, there was a little bit of tension between the two. When you talk about Amari and also Mike D'Antoni as the coach. Now, in part, remember, Mike D'Antoni was coming in his first chance as a head coach in the NBA, and he even acknowledged maybe he didn't handle Amari, who was a very young player, remember, right out of high school as well. So that relationship was not perfect. However, since they've made that reunion that you talked about, it has been pretty harmonious, and I think in part because of the maturity on both sides. And I do like the fact that Mike D'Antoni talked about it. There was a certain amount of responsibility that Amari took when he came here in terms of being a leader. That was not something that he was necessarily noted for in Phoenix. Remember, that was Steve Nash was the leader of that team and was the vocal leader as well. Now Amari's got to accept that role, and he's done, I think thus far, done a great job with it in training camp and set the tone for everyone else. Mike said how hard he's worked, how he's really led by example. That's going to be critical for this team, the youngest team arguably in the entire NBA coming into this upcoming season. So Amari's got not just big shoes to fill in terms of that contract, but also from a leadership standpoint.
And Amari and Raymond Felton, they both arrived here at the training center a month before training camp even begun. And a lot of guys show up a week before, 2 weeks before. Some guys show up a couple of days before. These guys showed up 1 month before training camp started. They were named captains before the Knicks got their practices underway here, in large part because of that leadership, because they're the first guys here. They're the last guys to leave, and they're leading through their play on the court, and also vocally. They're doing it all here.
And you know, that is going to be critical in terms of their success. Folks, don't kid yourself. This is, while a very talented basketball team, still a very young team, and they're going to have a lot of bumps in the road this upcoming season, and it's going to be paramount for Amari and Raymond to continue to exemplify that type of leadership when things aren't going well, because that's the one thing about young players. They tend to have their confidence ebb and flow based on how they're playing.